We live.
We are live. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, y'all know what to do. This is an exciting episode, man. I tell you what, to be 3-0, to be 3-0 in the preseason, I didn't even think I was going to get as excited as I am right now, man. Yeah. So without further ado, we got Darius on my right here, man. How you doing, Darius? You doing good, bro? You look good.
I like that, man. Doing great, man. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. I'm really excited to get into it. I got my Captain America shirt. I feel like I feel like Captain America right now after this game, man. I'm excited.
You're a superhero to somebody, that's for sure.
Super zero to others, but let's see what happens. I know one person that's a superhero today, and that's Mr. Caleb Williams. And Bearski is also our superhero. He threw down a quick little preseason week 2 video. So let's go ahead and watch that before we delve into this whole thing. And everybody else that is here with us right now that's live, thank you so much for spending some time with us this evening. We really appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Show us some love, and we love your support. And buckle up, get your popcorn, because we're getting ready to watch some Bearski film here. Here we go.
Another bootleg, so they're moving the pocket early. The only spot you could have put it right there. The DB did get his hand on it. Big time weapon. You can go downtown. Receiver like that, he is hard to bring down. Why he led the FBS First time they passed the 38 on the 42. Williams dropping back. Looking deep. God, at the DB almost like horse collar. Yeah. Walls it up. Stride, this number, he would have been hit in stride, and who knows, maybe. Nice job getting north and south. Supposed to be an inside zone running. To the outside. It looked like they checked to the outside zone. It looked like it was going to bounce, but Herbert makes a good move to get to the other side of the field. But he saw the secondary player flowing. So good eyesight, good vision. Williams a deeper drop this time. All that, but if he can set his feet just a little bit more, he had enough time. Nice job avoiding here. Evades the pressure. Stepping up. Off platform. He does this so well, he typically makes the first guy miss. Now steps up. Now to set your feet and gather. Position here for the 48. defense, clearly. Williams, pressure coming, he felt it. Look, he's looking the front side, steps up, feels it, like I said, bails out. So, evaded it, still on the move, looking around. You watch him. Because those are two backside guys, he's like, yeah, who cares? Williams is going to take off for the end zone! Now he turns the corner. This is what he does. He can create.
Wow, that was very exciting to relive those moments, wasn't it, Darius?
Yes, sir, man. Really exciting. Gives me chills, man. I can't wait for week 1, man.
You know what it kind of reminds me of, and I'm really going out there, and that's okay because I've been that way for a while now. But now that he's a pro and he's got a couple games, even though they're preseason games, I mean, some guys were even saying that they were a little reluctant to even give him any cred because, you know, they were like, well, he's never played any big time colleges. Well, how about some NFL teams that, you know, did pretty good and do pretty good, even at the preseason level? Your starters play their starters. I mean, you're looking at Houston right off the rip. You know, you got the Bills, and now in the building the Bengals. All three teams do pretty well, and we're handling it. The Bears are handling it pretty well. Darius, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. And regardless of what names you name, these are NFL. These are pro teams. These are professional football teams. So regardless of what city they play in, what logo they represent, they're still players in the NFL. There are teams in the NFL that have all NFL players. Whereas when he was in college, you may have had a team with maybe 3 NFL players on the team. You know, you step up to this level, you're facing all NFL players.
Oh, yeah, man. Absolutely. Hands down. I mean, even when we see Book Cook, you know, the fact remains is he's under somebody else that played at a high level in college that is now drafted, whatever, maybe even a starter in there. It all just depends on where they're at within their scheme and how long they want to keep their guys out there, whatever. I mean, we call these the future Uber drivers of America, but at the same point in time, it's as real to them as it is for you and I showing up to our Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. I hope my boss figures that part out, but you know, how I could probably work 9 to 9, but get paid, but only stay 9 to 5. That would be great. But, you know, honestly, getting back to that film really quick before we delve into it further, I do want to give a shout out to Bearsky. You know, last minute, about 6:15 or so, he drops me a little highlight video in my inbox, and I said, hey, could you put that on our, you know, and he was, you know, cooking and chopped it up and made sure that the file fit. And I mean, it was a photo finish to get in here. So, but we made it work, and we appreciate him as always. So shout out to Paul cooking again.
Shout out to Bearsky, man.
All right, Bearsky, yep. So, getting back to the nuts and bolts of the game, whatever. I just want to start off by saying before I interview you and ask you all those kind of questions, and you can, you know, flip it back to me and ask me some questions. From an offensive line standpoint, you know, playing offensive line, whatever, that is where my eyes are always fixated. And you know, I saw growth and development. I saw Caleb keeping inside of the organized play. And then when things start to break down, he kind of like ad libs, but then he goes back. Meanwhile, keeping his eyes down the field, reading all of his players and all that kind of stuff. At the very last minute, when he had that scramble for the touchdown, it was almost like, well, if I have to, and you're giving it to me, Jenkins is going to run in front of me, and we're going to get 6. You know, so. Yeah. It wasn't his like first read. You could tell he was looking, and everybody was covered, and this was the safest. The safest option. So I really do like how that worked out. I love how the offensive line push the push at the line at contact on the line. When I'm looking at these defensive players, the defensive line, they had that push, they had contain, they did good even on the early plays as far as running goes with Herbert. I really liked how they played, how they got push, and I see a lot of development, and I like how they're keeping the continuity within, the guards and the tackle and the center. Everybody is doing a good job. I like all that. Now, we could beat them up and say, Caleb had a sack. He would have had more if he didn't scramble, around and all that kind of stuff. And I get and that's fine. But at the same time, who we have in the building is also a replication of the fact that we have Caleb, of the fact that we have all these receivers. If we didn't have Caleb, if we didn't have these receivers, then obviously the game plan for the offensive line would be different. But what we have in our growth and development right now, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about that. And keep in mind, from my standpoint, from what I look at, this is a very vanilla. You're not getting all the 31 flavors that our offensive coordinator can cook up for you. So it's not what you're going to see come week one. We didn't want to give them anything. We didn't want to show the NFL anything that we'll be doing. So it's not going to look the same, whatever. We got the punter out there. We got the field goal kicker out there. We scored a bunch of points to a bunch of little of their points. I mean, I walked away a very happy fan, but I want to get a little bit more in depth. Like, you don't have to be as productive as Jim Miller, okay? Shout out to Jim Miller, man. You and I was talking about him earlier, man. He does a great job educating us, whatever. The guy is amazing when he called that game for the Bears, and there's a reason why he does what he does, and we love working with him. But you are the second best person behind Jim Miller. So yeah. So let's see what you got, bro. What did you think going into the first snap and moving forward, all the way from offensive line, running back, quarterback? We'll start off with the offensive side of the ball first. What did you think?
Yeah. Excuse me. It's quite a bit for me to unpack. I may be a little long-winded, so you can jump in at any time.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
You're good.
Jim Miller probably knows more football. Well, he's probably forgotten more football than I know based off his experience. But what I seen, now I wasn't as excited as you were about the trenches. Now last week they did well, but this week, I just didn't see the same physicality that I wanted to see. Plus, knowing that we were going against second, third string players for Cincinnati, I wanted to see a little more punch, a little more fight from the trenches than I seen today offensively.
Can I pause you just for one second there? I want to be certain that the viewers understand that my positive outlook on the trenches is only because I saw where we were last year. It's all predicated off of that, in the sense that I'm seeing growth and development. Things are getting better. And I even know next year the offensive line is not going to look the same. I know we're going to draft. We're going to hit the free agency. How you doing? Keep it moving. But what we got is what we got. And you look at the whole body of work, the whole rebuild of the entire team. That's really the only two places that you can poke holes in as our offensive and defensive line. So if that's the case, moving forward and building back in at what we already built out, all of out is good. You can always improve, right? You can always improve. But I mean, if Patrick Mahomes is potentially the darn gum Michael Jordan of football right now, then do we have Kobe in the building? Because if we do, I mean, that looks pretty damn good because as of right now, we got guys like Ty Hill, the cheetah, that's like, hey, dude, he kind of reminds me of somebody. And in his on his social media, he said Patrick Mahomes. So those are guys that aren't fans. Those are players that are saying that kind of stuff. So this ain't just the fan saying that anymore,
right?
And he's saying that in a preseason game too. He doesn't get anything extra out of this thing. Caleb's not like, here you go, you know. He's got more money than Caleb knows what to do. There's no hidden agendas, man. This is just
not at all. Not at
game
all.
recognized game, bro. But I just wanted to say to you, Darius, getting back to that, the only reason why I'm as confident and feel good about our offensive line is because it looks a lot better than it did last year. That's
no. I'm with you. Yeah. But for me, I'm not even thinking about last year. Last year was last year. I'm more of a week by week, you know what I'm saying? Evaluator.
That's real.
Mainly because everything was different last year. You know, so I don't even want to put what happened last year on these guys. Plus, they're a year older, a year wiser, they're a year more experience. So, I don't even want to think about last year, but I'm just basing it off of the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We've definitely seen growth, but I just feel like this week I felt like the whole offense, the whole team, especially the offense, we came out kind of like, they came out knowing that they were going up against a second and third string team. I didn't see a lot of aggressiveness, you know what I'm saying, in at the top of the game. Right. And I'm like you. I look at when I watch football, I watch from the inside out. And I just didn't see the push that I felt like I should see from our offensive line going up against that second and third string units.
But I will pause you on this because in that same theory, tracking along with you on that, much can be said about the fact that they didn't give up a lot. They didn't get a lot, but they didn't give up a lot either because steady and slow, they kept that offense with Joe Burrow in check, and they did a good job about that. And we were moving. It wasn't like 3 and out. There was 3. We did see the punter. Great job. Shout out to the punter. Good job. He's as well as advertised, But truth be told, man, I mean, the other side of that too is we could be very disappointed here if it was like a whole 30-29 type game or what, 31-28. But it wasn't the case, and I think you said something earlier, or somebody else did that. And we'll get into that the defense definitely looked better than the offense. But I just wanted to say we could have gave up a lot during that duration where we kind of came off looking, not as fresh as we did and not as clean and good as we did last week is what I'm,
Yeah, I just didn't see a lot of motivation. And I guess that, I guess that's a normal thing, especially, what I'm saying, when you know that you're not coming out facing the first team. You know what I mean? So another thing, I want to give props, you know what I'm saying, to Matt Eberflus. I want to give a props to Coach Flus. We've been giving him he's been having a lot of pressure this offseason. Been a lot of talk about him. And I understand that this is a preseason game, but what he did for the offense this game really, really changed the game.
Yeah, let's give him. I'm telling you, I've been waiting. I've been, if the players have love for the boy and they're, it's not just the beard, it's not just the new cool, Flus look, there's something there. And you saw a couple times on the sidelines where they zoomed in on Washington and he had his hold on, I don't have something big, but this kind of like an illustration. He's like, he's really getting into it, and he's what's going on, whatever. Washington's that dog, dude, and he's going to let Eberflus be more of like a game. Help me out, like a game planner, and look at in a point where we have to call a timeout, where we have to look at how many guys are on the field and all this kind of stuff, and all of the things that you orchestrate as a head coach, and not be so much of a, okay, well, half of me is split towards defensive coordinator, the other half is split for me being an overall head coach. And so far, I feel like you feel. I feel good about Fluss. I also feel good, and we're not talking about defense, but kind of when we brought up Fluss, we almost can, because it's a little bit of everything. And I do like what I see from Washington, because when a guy like Gordon gets loose, and they interviewed him about that, man, and he just took off, and he was unchecked, and he was kind of waiting to see if somebody was going to run out and stop him, and he came in clean, man, and then he flexed, and it was cool, man. And I really think with Washington in Buffalo, help me out with this, but I'm pretty certain he has one of the top blitzing. He sends the dogs. It's not just the line, he sends everybody all the time, and that's something that Fluss don't do. He relied on the pressure for the defensive line. So this is cool, man. I like how guys are coming in outside of the defensive line and putting that pressure in, brother, you know.
But when I talk about, I didn't even get to the defense yet, but what he did as far as, you know, keeping those guys out there, because the first couple of series was so lackluster, he didn't want those guys to leave that field on a bad note. And that's how you know that it's changes that's happening around there, because the old regime would have been okay with the couple of 3-and-outs they had and a couple of, you know, the field goals or whatnot. They would have pulled those guys, and we've been waiting to see those guys play again week 1. Flus decided to keep those guys out there, made sure Waldron got a little bit more aggressive with the play calling, and got some big plays out there, and was able, you know what I'm saying, just to get the crowd excited and to build confidence in Caleb and the rest of those guys on the offense. Because, you know, honestly, the first couple of series wasn't very good for me.
Right.
You know,
No.
It looked very lackluster. You know, if we're gonna nitpick, okay, if we're gonna nitpick about, you know, good or bad, just look lackluster. And having a rookie quarterback, you know, you have to set precedent and say that this is not the way we're going to play football.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You're not going to leave this field until you show me something.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what ended up happening, because then you start seeing the big plays down the field.
Well, and to your point, I think there was an actual time where we didn't, and some of the staff didn't feel that Caleb and company would be in as much as they did, but he felt like they needed more.
Yeah.
Pat, the designer, touched on this, and you are now too, obviously. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And like I said, you know, the fact that he made that call, that Fluss made that call to keep them guys in more, that was a great decision. And we loved it as the fans. We love having all that extra in there with Caleb and company. So good call on that, Darius.
And also with Flus, defensively, the defensive line, I wasn't very happy with. But when you start calling those, sending Kyler Gordon off the edge and start blitzing, that really got the defense excited. And then, you know, it created turnovers, you know, because I want those 2 interceptions came off of, you know, coming off the blitz, you know, hurrying the quarterback. I thought when I seen him sack the quarterback the first time, I thought he coughed it up, but he held on to it. That was a big hit by Kyler.
How did I get way much bigger? This is weird. Hold on. I don't want that. Hold on. There we go. Okay. This is cool. I like that. Let's get okay. All right. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I really feel like it's good to see all that and to see Gordon in there and whatever. And sometimes, you know, when you are looking at the the head guys, when you're looking at Sweat, you don't really pick up on that stuff, and you don't really think that Gordon's going to come in there with a sack or whatever. We kind of just used to, like last year, we're used to looking at that defensive line thinking that's where it's going to come from. It's nice to see this. I like it.
It was nice to see, and it was nice to see for the home crowd, especially, for us to come out and do something more than the normal, the four guy, what I'm saying, the four-man pressures and stuff like that. We had to get the crowd into it somehow. You know what I mean? And Flus did a good job on the defensive end. And Shane Waldron got a little bit more aggressive that second quarter. And that's when our guy Rome Odunze entered the chat.
Oh, Rome, yeah. Hey, I do like what Ricky said a little bit ago. He said, and I agree with him, we're going to have some hard cuts at DB. I mean, there's going to be some guys that we're really starting to like because we're seeing production. Some of these guys, I saw this earlier in social media, some of the guys on our team are actually going to be like starters on other teams.
Hey, listen, those two backup safeties today, Hicks and Owens, they played very well. They tackled well. Yes. They were very aggressive going to the ball.
Yes.
That was great to see from your backup guys. So just imagine what your starters going to do, you know what I'm saying, when they get out there. Because that's where they're getting it from,
Yeah.
So that was good to see. We spoke about Troy Taylor, electric leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had some great punts.
I like what Cliff said. He says next time the Bears play Cincy will remember how the Bears beat the brakes off of them in practice and during the game. I mean, dude, that's two back-to-back. We're like probably 70, 80 points or whatever, and all these sacks and stuff and getting after, I'm surprised that their quarterback actually came and shook Caleb's hand after all that, man. Seriously. Some of those times where you just get, handled like that, you just kind of want to run in there and take a hot shower and get on the flight and get out of there,
Yeah. We saw a lot of USC Caleb today.
We did.
With the stuff that everybody was saying, he's not going to be able to do that in the NFL. He's not going to be able to do that. I mean, you cannot stop instincts, man. Like instincts, an instinctive player is nothing you can do about it, really. You know what I mean? Now, granted, everything's not going to work, but I was very impressed. Even though we didn't get the score, I was very impressed in the rollout and how the ball jumped out of Caleb's hand and hit Rome Odunze on the numbers. He just didn't have his feet set correctly, but. We seen a lot of USC Caleb today, and that was good to see. Because now we see that he can play off platform and on key. You know what I mean? It's not just because they tried to make it seem like when we was getting him that he was just erratic and didn't understand concepts and didn't understand how to play the position in the proper way.
No. When he has to ad lib, when he has to be out of structure, when he has to develop himself and start to move himself out of structure, he will find himself to get back into the structure. He does not stay. That is not his sole focus. He said it before. We need to see it. We're from the show me state almost by the way things been going. Miles will be, the whole deal of it is that he gets back into structure, man. You've seen it. His MO wasn't, once his feet go, that's it. He didn't stay that way the rest, He was always trying to pass, and without that, pass interference, that would have been an extra completion. Without a Dunze, getting his foot out of bounds, which he could have put in bounds or not put back in, but keep them both in bounds and made the catch. There's plenty of time for that. That was a beautiful throw. He was rolling. And he just rolling and mowing is what it was a beautiful, you heard Jim Miller call it. It was great. It was electrifying. And he's doing it during a regular NFL game, folks. He's doing it during the regular NFL. Same stuff, just like, Darius preaching, man. This is what he did over at USC. He did it in Oklahoma. I'm pretty sure he did it in grade school, man. In high school, I mean, whatever. But to your point, Darius, he's doing it, bro. He's doing it. And also to the point of he's spreading around. He's not just focused on DJ, bro. He's getting it around to everybody. We saw last time where Dunze wasn't really that big in the the game plan. This time they brought him more out. Guess what? He got more. He even got to the backup tight end. I saw that. So
there was a lot of that. You seen that?
Yeah, but I did not understand, and that's probably why you're going to see these guys play a little chippery and not as you didn't see him come out like they did, because you kind of feel uneasy. You don't know if you are going to get in a groove. You kind of put a little bit too much pressure on yourself because you know that it's limited. So you're not like, okay, we're going to make sure we give this guy 30 carries. Okay, well, if things don't work out right now, then I'll catch up later on, blah, 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 whatever. Like, you put so much pressure on yourself because you know you're only get at 5 to 7 carries because this Velus Jones is going to take some of my freaking reps as a freaking running back. Somebody said earlier, I think it was Ricky or Cliff or somebody in the chat, that he's as good as gone. I have to agree. I mean, they tried him at darn near everything, and while he does possess speed and some flash and this and that, it's not enough. I mean, we've got guys on the team, like you said, those two safeties. In my mind, those two safeties stay before Velus stays.
Absolutely. Now, Velus didn't put on his best show today. He had a decent play in special teams, but I want when people watch Caleb, to go back to him for a second. When people watch Caleb, I want them to watch two things. I want them to watch his head when he's scrambling.
Okay.
And I also want people to watch the way he maneuvers the pocket.
Say that again. Explain that.
Well, as far as maneuvering the pocket,
yeah, please.
That means just buying himself time to make an accurate throw. Instead of buying time to run.
Yeah.
He's buying time when he's moving, he's maneuvering that pocket, going up and down in the pocket. But I know when I was playing football, they had the ladder for the quarterback. They call it a ladder.
Yes.
And they worked the ladder. He worked the ladder of the pocket. And he's maneuvering around in the pocket to buy himself time to throw, not necessarily to run. And if you notice on that run to the end zone, he sold the pass to the very last second. And that's how he got in there scot-free.
Okay. You know what? I will say this too. How do you have like this Jedi like vibe and feel about you where like you don't even know these guys yet, bro? You're just breaking bread with them. You landed a couple weeks ago, a couple months now, and you're starting to learn these guys.
Yeah.
How do you know where to be at in that pocket and move around like he does is amazing, because you can't be stubborn about it. Well, these guys have to block over here, so I have to go over there. Well, now you know them in a certain way, and it doesn't look like that's happening right now. So you got to move, and he knows that, dude. He knows that. He's thinking, forward thinking. He's got like these like freaking like I don't know, like this radar or something.
Radar. Well,
it's kind of like
I think more than anything, it's a shout out to his preparation, man.
Preparation.
No, it's a shout out to his preparation and his
Can we say coaches too? I'd like to say coaches.
Well,
I've seen where they start hitting him with the thing and make sure he doesn't fumble.
Before all that, because I'm always the guy that says development is on the player.
Yeah.
And you can see that he worked hard on it. He worked hard and practiced hard on his pocket presence.
Yeah.
And the way he maneuvers throughout the pocket, that's not something that every QB is born with, unfortunately.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Now to move a little past that, when you said, guys know that they're coming out and may not get this and may not get that, but we as fans and even those guys in the locker room have to understand this is a new standard, right?
Yep.
This is a young team.
Yep.
So you have to come out here and set the example. You know,
Yes.
even though you may not, you may understand that you may have a certain limited amount of carries, or you may have a limited amount of time on the field. When you out there on the field, you have to go 100% because you're setting an example. You're setting an example for the young guys, and and you're young. You're the youngest at the most important position in professional sports. So therefore, you know, you have to accept as great as he has the potential to be, and as great as he was as a collegiate, he's a professional now. So, you know, these veterans have to set the standard to be, you know what I'm saying, to go balls to the wall, you know what I'm saying?
And I agree with that, but it takes a village. It takes the whole entire team.
Absolutely.
And when you look at the first couple plays earlier, we were watching the highlights, Bearski, for all those that didn't catch the game, whatever. The first couple plays were about Herbert, right? And it looked like up until we went wide left, and he went all the way outside to the 5 and 7 hole right out there on the out on the flat. It looked a little chippy in the middle and the center, and that whole right guard over there, the center. Hey, hold on. The center. If I saw that guy, I'd shake his hand because I haven't seen any worm burners. I haven't seen the ball one time. There's been no problem with Caleb getting that ball. That ball's been clean, and I'd shake your hand, Shelton, every time, man. You're a work in progress, and I really feel good about you, sir, being as our center right now. They're saying right now that there's still potential for somebody to be, you know, that it's not locked in, that the center is for sure going to be the center and the right guard is going to be the right guard. Now, I know you have to say that because the right guard hasn't really quite been there except for Pryor. And to me, Pryor has been doing exceptionally well, not even knowing whether or not he's going to be that right guard. I seen him with the Colts. I've seen him. I think he was on another team too. But he does look serviceable. He does look good. That doesn't mean that I want that guy to be my next opposite of Tevin Jenkins. Would I like an upgrade? Yeah. Can I have it my way every time? No, absolutely not. But as of right now, I mean, Nate, the ain't so great Davis, I mean, honestly, to me, he's really close to getting his walking papers, not as kicking him off the team, but as being a starter. And I feel like Pryor is doing that. But my point to you is I think some of that you see where the plays breaking down and we don't look aggressive is from that offensive line. And but knowing what I know about offensive line, I was good with what happened today. It could have, and to that point, it could have been a lot worse, brother. Guess what?
No doubt about it.
Guess what? I do have a lot of cred for that left tackle, bro. I've been very, very critical on him because I played left tackle, not as high of a level as him, but I will say this. He's definitely starting to anchor a little bit. He's definitely showing some things, some maturation, and I do know he knows that it's time to cut bait. And if he steps up like he's been doing, and the fact is, I'm gonna tell you guys something. Please listen to me. Please listen to me about this. Please, if you hear one thing out of my mouth, left guard Tevin Jenkins next to Larry Borum, whoever is that left tackle is going to make a world of difference because he's going to be able to help out with some of those weaknesses at the left tackle. I'm telling you guys, he can handle blocking two defenders at once. Tevin is that dude. And I think Darnell Wright could be helping out the right guard too once he gets back into his form. So I'm feeling good about things moving forward. I don't know about you, Darius, but I getting back to, you know, Shelton, I think that's where it all starts because you've seen it, bro. I'm telling you, as God is my witness, if Fields didn't have his cape on where he shot up to the moon and caught the ball, there was some ones that were going up over his head, down in the dirt. I mean, it was bad, bro. It was embarrassing, man. I'm not gonna lie, man.
Yeah. As far as the offensive line concerned, you know, and Nate Davis in particular, I don't feel like he played enough. I would have, because he's been out so long, I would have played him all the way up into the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? Because he's been out so long, man. And this is his first week of live action. So, you know, like I said, I'll do a week by week. This week wasn't as good as last week for me, but there's still plenty of room to grow. And we have to, and you know what I'm saying, in time, we'll gain continuity as long as everyone stays healthy. You know what I mean? And we keep the same unit, the same 5 guys out there. I want to give some love to some of the guys that's busting their tail trying to make this team as well. You know, that in the third and fourth quarter, that offensive line, they did a pretty good job. You know, even though, like you said, you playing up against guys that's gonna be doing some other things with their life, you know, after, you know, preseason's over. But, you know, you still have to applaud the effort. You know what I mean? And it was very good. We saw Tyson Bagent. People giving Tyson Bagent a lot of grief, but he was throwing dimes out there.
I did because I was looking at Rippin, you know, Pip and Rippin. And Pimp and Rippin looked good when he come out. He looked like, you know, he was serviceable. When we were looking at him at the Hall of Fame game, they kind of pulled off of him a little bit and went ahead and looked at, I think they're filling it in as who's going to be number 3 and number 2. And 4 is going to be, you know, on what do you call it? On the practice squad, whatever. If that's the case, at some point you might even have to let that guy go or whatever. But to your point, I do agree, man. Bagent is definitely making a case for himself at being that number 3 or number 2. I don't know. At this point, honest to God, I don't know if you're going to go Rippin, because I feel like we could have seen a little bit more of him, because now seeing more of Bagent, I almost feel like Bagent could be number 2. But whether it be number 2 or number 3, fact remains, I think you and I feel comfortable about having a guy come in if Caleb needs to take a week to 3 weeks off is what you really look for if you have like a soft tissue, you know, type situation, which happens with all teams. What's happening?
Yeah. And, you know, it's been a lot. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and I kind of led into what Bearlismo said. Caleb is able to stop rushers' feet the way that Mahomes does. And with that being said, when you stop on a dime like that, like he did, you saw him go all the way right to his strong side, and then he stopped it, whoop, 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 and he stopped that freaking pass rusher dead in his tracks, and then he continued that roll out to the right to throw that ball over to a Dunze. That's the type of stuff that Mahomes can do, but that is also something that could get you a soft tissue, and we might not be looking at him next week, or he might be limping, you know, or something like that. So those things come with that too. So that's why
let's hope and pray that don't happen.
Yes, ice baths, all that stuff LeBron does in the hyperbarics and all, you know,
But, you know, he freezes those defenders, man, because he always has his head down the field, you know?
Yes.
Like that's, you know, that one quality is something that's not talked about a lot when they talk about quarterbacks, you know? You have to keep your head down the field, because even if you're running, you have to sell the pass. You know, you have to sell it. You know what I mean? But Tyson Bagent did a good job. You know, it's a couple of us in the CSP family. They don't really rock with Bagent like that, because they're basing everything on last year. And you know, like I try to get people to understand, like, listen, people get better. You know, things that they didn't have last year, you know, I'm pretty sure they worked on it in the off season, their off time. And to me, I see a lot of improvement in Bagent. You know, his processing, well, he's always been a decent processor, but his ball placement was pretty good today. You know, even though he didn't complete every pass, but
no,
some of those, like Pettis, on one of those that Pettis caught, he was well defended, and that ball placement was incredible. And I see Bajan is very confident too. You see how he stands in the pocket and how he looks in the huddle. That's a lot different from last year.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. He looked very confident. He looked a lot better. I think he's also getting some good takes with Caleb. I think the offensive coordinator is helping build him out and stuff too. And I think this is just the maturation where you coming from, a lower level, and now he's just really starting to get that, So this is good, man. This is really good. I like what's going on. Some of the chats, let's get into the chat for a little bit. Cliff says, Brandon, I wonder what no read on the field today means. Well, it's not looking good. I like the kid. I watch him. We all watch him on HBO Hard Knocks, but it takes a little bit more than that. And there's 4 of those guys out there for a reason, and all 4 ain't going to make it. So, it's just, but I mean, you can have up to 3 now. So put Reed on practice squad. I don't know. Maybe he has a place on another team and they're say, hey, you got a better chance at getting some time and moving your career forward. If you go that way, would you like that? Because we could still keep this 3. I don't know what happens there, but I like all 4 of our QBs, man. I've seen good things out of all of them. It's been a blessing this year to see all of that stuff.
Yes, indeed. And
Cliff says Badgent's stats were great today, better than Caleb's. I mean, that's kind of slanted because you're starting out with, Caleb is with the starters against Cincy starters and his, and then Badgent's kind of going up against a little bit, lower level talent and stuff. So it's kind of, and by that time, everybody got those reps, and the OC and stuff was starting to see what was working and what wasn't working and all that kind of stuff. And there was some drops, there was that pass interference. If all those are completions, that changes the game. That happens with everything. Those kicks were great. We could have even kicked another one at the end, but like Ed Buckley was saying, that's glad that we kept everything classy and didn't settle for another field goal because we had enough points on the board. And, but I did like, that 50-something yarder, that looked really good. And then a couple earlier. And I think we got a little bit of everything today. It was really good, man.
Yeah, we got a little bit of everything. And, me being where I'm at with us, I think we left a little bit in the locker room too. I say that because of the start, that sluggish start. Not to keep dwelling on that, but I seen Cliff's comment saying that Bajent's stats was better than Caleb's. Yeah, it's because we came out there, with that lackluster effort in the first couple of possessions. But, props to Bajent. Bajent played a heck of a game today. Like I said, his ball placement was a lot better than it has been. Hardy, Bookie and Hardy, those young guys on the edge, you seeing growth there, especially out of Hardy's being consistent. He's had a sack, I think, every game, if I'm not mistaken. Booker didn't have his best game today as far as from a sack standpoint, but
what's that defensive tackle that he stunted with when Hardy cut loose and got his sack in? I think Hutchins or something like that from the Raiders.
Hutchins, from Texas Tech,
We got to give them boys credit too. I saw Dexter cut loose, man. It takes a village. It takes all the defensive tackles. It takes the linebackers to line up where they're supposed to contain all those gaps and know exactly where to be. It takes the defensive backs. That way, the defensive ends, the edge rushers, can dominate on the 5 and 7 on the outside and the 4 and 6, and then cut loose on 8. But when you do those stunts and whatever, that's really important. And Hutch, man, he got some speed going, man, and he was really dominating that offensive line, and that's a pretty decent offensive line. You got to understand they're protecting a really expensive, good quarterback in there in Joe Burrow, and he was one play away from advancing on from Kansas City into the Super Bowl. It wasn't. They weren't far from getting that. By the way,
true.
So that's a good team, brother. That's a good litmus test.
And not to shortchange those second and third string guys, because hate it or love it, those guys are absolutely playing for something. Yeah. You know, if you talk about first string guys, those guys are already submitted. They've made cemented. They made the roster. You know, they don't have a lot to play for in the preseason. You know, a lot of that is setting an example for the younger guys. But those second and third string guys absolutely have something to play for. So, you know, we don't want to discount their efforts at any, you know what I'm saying, at any point. You know, because
this is a good this is a good question, and I have to answer it right now. Ricky Mosby wants to know. Special shout out to Ricky Mosby. Everybody in the chat, even Double M guy. First time I seen him in here, new viewer, I believe. Thank you for showing up, Ricky too. But Ricky has a good one. Cliff did say he's not saying that Bajent is better. He's just saying that he played a good game. That's all.
No, we understand what he's saying.
Yeah, we understand. You're a smart cat like the rest of you guys in here, very intelligent. So we appreciate all y'all's input. But let's Ricky Mosby says, do you think we still need another edge or Booker can get a job done? I did watch an interview where and up until now, I really thought that we might need one. But when I listened to King Poles, and we all say let him cook, but we feel like we need to be in the kitchen, kind of a Hell's Kitchen, and you know, kind of being like a micromanager of Poles. And what I heard him to say today is he liked what Book's doing. He likes what's his name? You just said his name a little bit ago. The other edge,
Hardy.
Hardy is as good as advertised. He's been on a couple teams already, and every time I see him on a team, he's just as serviceable, if not more. Sweat. I saw Sweat cut loose, which allowed somebody else to come in and fire away. Was that with the one where that was the one where Gordon cut loose because of Sweat's pressure? So he said, getting back to what he said when he was being interviewed with our guy Justin Miller. Jim Miller and his co-host was asking him that question. What's that?
Adam Amin.
Yeah, Adam Amin. So they were asking him about that, you know, and he goes, you know, we're going to kick the tires, so to speak, quote unquote, kick the tires and look at whatever. But he said, but, you know, if it's right. But at this current time, he feels really good about who we have in the building with Book and Hardy. And he even brought up a couple other cats and whatever. And he feels good about what we've got right now. And honestly, I'm starting to feel that way too. So if we don't go out and get a guy, I'm still okay. I do understand that next year, these guys that we're starting to fall in love with, he still might go out and reset our roster and add somebody that is totally like, whoa, we got another Sweat on the other side. I mean, be ready for that. But that'll be later on down next year or maybe towards the trade deadline or something. There's also something I want you guys to know. And I know you guys already know this because we are talking to the smartest fans in all 32 teams, is that when it comes time to get down to the 53 players, there are some guys, Darius, that, you know, because they drafted a defensive end, a pass rusher, whatever the position is. Now, that doesn't mean that veteran that was on the team is a POS. It doesn't mean that they're sliding and they're not productive. It just means for the cap, for the money, for, whoa, wait a second. This guy is already starting to show growth and maturation. We can go ahead and cut this guy loose because we feel projective-wise, if he's not as good or better, he might be almost as good or could be better down the road. So let's go ahead and cut that veteran loose and save us 10, 15 million, whatever it is. Now all of a sudden that might throw up a signal to Poles radar. And this is all hypotheticals, but
it happens. It's one of them things that happen all the time.
Yes. And I feel like that might be what we're waiting for as far as offensive line, defensive line, whatever. Or if something, God forbid, something happens between now and September 8th, we've got to have a little bit of wiggle room to go out with some spending money and fix whatever happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm going to push back a little bit. I'm going to kind of disagree with you.
That's all right.
I think that is if we have the opportunity to get the right guy, not anybody, but get the right guy that's going to actually turn this defensive line up, we should most definitely go get another pass rusher. Because that's how you win in this league. You either getting to the quarterback or protecting the quarterback. And we definitely need someone else on the other side, in the middle, wherever.
But bro, doesn't that worry you? And I'm not saying I don't disagree, but now it kind of gets into the okay. So we look at Book, not so much Hardy because he's been in a while, and I think Hardy is who he is. And I'm not sure if he's ever been able to reap the rewards of having guys like, Dex and guys like Sweat and our defensive backs and whatever, all this, our great defense. But I will say this, if you go out and get a guy that is comp to Sweat or a little bit later, let's just say on a scale of 1 to 10, Sweat's like an 8, 9, and you go out and get a 7, 8. Now Book could be a 5 to 7 or 6 to 7, maybe 8 by the end of the year working with Sweat. Keep in mind, Sweat really loves this kid. He loves his size, his get after, his mode, all his motor, all this kind of stuff. Do you feel like going out and getting that guy this year that you're talking about, if it was right, could stop the maturation and the fast process of Book if he doesn't get those reps?
No way. Because the only reason why I say that is because the more experience that you have around these young guys, because the reps are not just physical reps, they're mental reps as well. These guys are going to, the guy that you can bring in here along with Sweat can teach these guys, how to be just as good as they are. Teach them how to be professionals, teach them how to watch film, teach them technique. Because the more teachers you have in the building, you know what I'm saying, the better you can learn. Especially if these teachers are coming from being double-digit sack artists, or being guys that hold the edge, on the end. If you get another guy in here, that's comparable to Sweat, and let those guys play behind them. I mean, because they're going to get in the game. They're going to play.
Yeah. I get that. I get that. But here's the deal. I almost feel like an edge rusher is one of those positions, bro, because this is how I was told in order to build out a team. I was told your left tackle or right tackle, if the quarterback's left-handed, you go out and get an edge rusher, right? Somebody that could put pressure on the QB, one. You get a lockdown corner, and you get a left tackle or right tackle, whoever it is, the opposite, the weak side of the QB. And that's how you build out your team, whatever. I feel like it's important to get that quarterback out there early. It's nice to get them behind. I like how Green Bay does it. Unfortunately, our system has been broke for a while, so Caleb is going to be all on his own. You know what I'm saying? So he doesn't have that, Brett Favre or Rodgers to sit behind. It's different. But that's kind of where I'm getting at, bro, with this whole deal about I feel like it doesn't make it right. It's just me. Yeah. I feel like having Book out there as much as we can early and often is important to his growth and development. However, I also see your side of it too. I'm just glad that we have those guys in the building can make this call, because I don't think I'd be able to do it, because you might put someone out there too early, and then how would you develop that contract? Are we talking about a 1-year deal, a 2-year deal? Because at some point we got to see, okay, is Book our future? And then at that point, how expensive is it going to be to re-sign him on a big contract? How much have we seen of him out there, because he's always been behind that guy that you wanted to sign? It's just a lot for me to process. You know what I'm saying, bro?
And I do understand that, but you got to look at it like this. We're at a point now where money is really not a major concern. Like we still have no, I mean seriously, we still have a few more years before we even think about offering Caleb an extension, anything like that. Because he's going to take the bulk of our money. But right now, where we are now, because all the positions you name as far as building the team, we pretty much have that, and that could be our foundation. You know what I'm saying? But if you have a house, if you're building a house, you start with the foundation, but you also have to have other things around it to make it a home. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because right now folks are complaining that the roof is leaking, and I'm going to tell you right now, we just figured the foundation out. Now we're setting the studs. So if the studs ain't completely, set, there's a reason why the roof is leaking is because the roof ain't even on, because you have to have the studs before you put the freaking roof on. It's not done yet, folks.
Right.
But
as far as bringing in a guy, I said, if we could bring in a guy, a double-digit sack guy, I ain't talking about any guy. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about somebody DN that's giving you 4 to 6 sacks, coming in off the street. No, we're not talking about that. We're actually talking about someone that can help develop these young guys. You know what I'm saying, on each side of the line. We're not bringing just anybody in. If we're just gonna bring anybody in, I'd rather stick with Booker and Hardy. But if
and that's just it, though. Too, I don't think that there's anybody out there right now worth. I don't think it's worth it right now in the free agency to stunt Booker's development. Now, if you're talking about a trade or something where we take next year's draft pick or something,
however it happens.
Then I understand.
Yeah,
if we could pull a sweat move, then I feel exactly what you're preaching.
And the reason why I'm so strong with this is because, number one, if you look at our division, we are a pass-happy division now. Yes. Detroit sprinkles in the run every now and then, and Green Bay, they brought in Josh Jacobs. Oh, yeah, okay. At the end of the day, we know from every team in our division, that ball's going up in the air, and it's going up in the air on a regular basis. You know what I mean? So we need as many guys as we can that can get to the quarterback. We'll find playing time. Everybody will find playing time. When we've had our best defenses, we've rotated defensive linemen and all that. We found guys playing time. And when guys outplayed, the starters, we got rid of the starters and wanted to develop, the guy, the young guy. But
can I ask you a question, though? Can I ask you a question really quick? Can I ask you a question? What do you think is more important right now? That extra edge rusher that you're looking for, or a potential right guard or somewhere on the offense that would shore up, keep Caleb healthy and upright, and protect our most important investment on the team that we've never had before?
Someone that can get to the quarterback.
Okay, all right.
Because I'm confident enough right now in our O-line, in our quarterback.
Well, I better not hear you ever complain about that O-line again, because
look, like I said, it's week by week. If you don't play well, I'm gonna say something.
Yeah.
And I think we all should. If these guys are not playing well, again, this is the new standard has been set, bro.
New standard has been set.
We did not bring this number 1 pick in here to play like we played in the past.
Right. And by the way, speaking of the past, here's a face from the past. Ed Buckley's in the building. Ed, how you doing, buddy?
Good.
What's up, Ed?
Ed just came back from Soldier Field, man. He was actually live at the game today, man.
Oh yeah, how was it, man? How was the experience?
Nice, very nice, man. I went to that buffet there and before the game, and that was cool. And I had perfect seats, man. We were like on the cutoff of the rain for whatever reason, just how the thing was. Everybody below us were getting soaked, man, and we were dry.
That's nice.
How many autographs you signed out there, Ed?
None.
Not today, huh?
No, nobody came looking.
Yeah.
He was busy anyways. He was doing the Lord's work for Chicago Sports Podcast. Hey, really quickly, I just wanted to give a shout out to our sponsors. I'm slacking a little bit. I always give our guys a hard time that's on our pod, and now here I am. Bridges Scoreboard, TC's World of Wonders, Worst Stadium Club, River Street Tavern, Underdog Fantasy. Yeah, we just want to give all a shout out and all the praise and everything to our sponsors. Thank you guys for being a part of us and us being a part of you. So yeah, but Ed, so from a live standpoint, man, what was it like? How many people you say were there? Was it half? Was it 3/4? What was it like there?
Well, it was looking like half. In the beginning, it didn't take long, and it started filling up. I thought it was gonna, we're looking around like, oh man, there's a lot of empty seats, but there ended up being at least 3/4 full, if not better. But when it started to rain, some of them went hiding and stuff, but and it rained on and off throughout the game. And then it poured on our way out of there. We got wet. We got wet getting out of there. But hey, look, man. When the weather's like this, I'm cool with the rain. I'd rather have it rain in the sun beating in my face. And I used to love to play them wet weather games, man. That was my favorite.
Yeah.
So watching football in the rain, just to me, kind of reminds me of playing football in the rain. That was when I was in my glory, man. I love playing in the rain.
Yeah, I can deal with the rain, but it's either gonna rain or be cold. Anytime it got to be rainy and cold.
Yeah, now that's not
that's tough,
that's
man.
Not ideal.
Yeah, that's tough right there.
Also too, they were talking about the field conditions, Ed, and from a aerial view, it looked like it was worse than it was when they actually got on there. Do you feel like the footing and all of that might have affected the early things that we saw as far as like the choppiness of the play and kind of wondering what was going on with our offensive line and Caleb and all that kind of stuff, and the actual wetness and whatnot? Do you think that had anything to do with it or no?
Well, I mean, the wetness and the wet ball and so on, that's always going to affect it a little bit. I didn't see anybody slipping around there too much. I mean, the field conditions, I didn't see a problem with it.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, that's what's important because we only see so much right now that what's going on, so kind of like our viewers are at home right now. So that the whole deal about that is when you're, out there at the stadium and you see all of that, and then you kind of see a guy maybe around, the sideline kind of slip or something, or starting to pull the grass out of their cleats and, all that. Yeah. So
yeah, didn't see any problem with it. Right on the 50-yard line, man, I could see everything, and I didn't see a problem.
Man, I bet you got some good picks, man. Got some good picks.
Dude, I messaged you about that. I ain't kidding, man. When they sent Velus Jones out, I got me a video, I'm not the greatest photographer or whatever, but I got me a little video of when they was coming out and stuff. And
he's great at video.
Messed that up a little bit, but I was gonna take some shots, and I'm all primed up for taking some pictures. And they sent Velus Jones out as one of the captains. And I put my damn phone down. I said, I ain't taking pictures.
Was he really a captain, Ed?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they sent Velus out as one of the captains.
Ed, you sure you
blew my day?
You sure you weren't overserved? I don't believe this, man. Velus is a captain, dude?
They did.
Dude.
They did.
Darius, come on, Darius. What would you put your phone down too? I mean, I'm kind of
I wouldn't put my phone down, but I'd definitely be scratching my head.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Crazy. That is crazy talk, man. Velus.
Yeah.
Well, you might as well just finish it and put Nate Davis as the other guy,
Yeah.
Jeez, unbelievable.
Nate Davis should have been out of Nate Davis should have been out on the field for everything. They should have had him. They should have had him all over the place, man.
Hey, Ed, what do you? What else did you see that you liked in general? Like, we were asking about the game and all this and that. Quarterback, receivers, offensive line, all that stuff. Tight ends.
Well, I thought
Coaches.
I thought as a whole they look great, all of them, especially the defense. I'm really impressed with the defense. There's some plays that go a little longer than what we like them to see go, but that defense, man, it's been this whole preseason. I've been impressed with them, and I was impressed with them again today. Offense, look, all them, like you said, all the quarterbacks are looking good. There was a bit of a slow start. I heard you mention about that earlier. Yeah, it started off pretty slow, and it wasn't looking great. Didn't look like we could block anybody for a running play, and Williams actually wasn't firing on all cylinders to start. He was missing some throws. That first 3 and out, I mean, two of them 3 plays, he had guys that were open that could have hit for a first down. He just missed them, And then that third one, I don't know who he was throwing at, man. I mean, they hit him late with a doggone penalty. I'm at a loss here, mental loss for there was nobody in the area.
Yeah.
He got it was a delayed reaction. I mean, when he threw it, I thought he was gonna intentional groundings. Thank you.
Yeah.
I thought I'd see a flag, and I didn't, but they went back to punt, and they were getting ready to punt, and they decided to throw the flag on that. I guess they had a discussion or whatever, but they hit him for intentional grounding, and it wasn't nobody around. I don't know.
Ed, let me ask you a question. Did you see the quarterbacks or anybody wiping the balls down at any point?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not, but I'm sure they did.
I didn't even see like if he had one on his hip or something. I really wasn't paying attention.
There was a couple guys with a towel on their hip.
Because Ed, as Tony used to say, it never rains in Southern California. So him with this rain, it might be a little, But I'm not going to make excuses. Like Darius said, there is a what do you call it now, and we have to keep that. We have to keep that bar raised. We can't lower it.
Yeah, we don't need to make excuses. We ain't got no reason to make excuses, man. We've went out there and put it to two of the teams that
30 points
are always, and I mean always in the playoff conversation, and most times in possible Super Bowl conversation. And from the starters to the third string and every facet, we put it to them.
3 quarterbacks that we have just went up against, that the Bears just went up against, are guys that are like top of the league freaking quarterbacks in the AFC, boys. This is pretty special. And the fact that we're looking at our quarterback and even our backup quarterbacks and like we're holding our own, boys. We don't look like, we don't look like the red-headed stepchildren anymore. You know what I mean? And this is even with a rookie in the building, damn it,
Several.
I'm happy. I'm happy for the 3-0. I'm happy for the 3-0 preseason start, but we got to keep it in perspective. Remember in 22, we were also 3-0 in the preseason, and we see how that panned out.
Well, remember in 06?
Yeah.
That panned out pretty decent.
Yeah, it did. But as recent history has shown, 22 we were 3-0 in the preseason. Actually, and then we won the first game. We beat San Francisco. Y'all remember?
In the rain.
Yeah,
I was there for that game, and that
Yeah.
was really wet. That wasn't no freaking Ed Buckley little tears crying about a little rain getting a little wet. I was soaked, bro. I was soaked. It was torrential downpour. It was roll cascading down the
That was
freaking
some rain.
It was bad, bro. It was
Yeah,
bad.
that was definitely some rain.
In fact, I think that was the beginning of the end of that rookie quarterback up against our rookie quarterback Fields over there with the Niners. I think that was the beginning of the end for him because he just ended up on a really bad trajectory, and I don't know if he'll ever be able to regroup from that. To be honest with you, man, I really don't, because he's got to have some sort of talent to get to where he was at, but it didn't stick, and we didn't see it. So we won that game, but and we won this game convincingly, boys, and I was really happy about it. I was really proud of my
Yeah, I'm listening.
What about those kicks, Ed? What about those kicks and punts in the wet conditions and all that kind of stuff? I mean, that really has a lot to say for our kicker and our punter. You know what I mean, Ed?
Yeah, I was honestly though, I was hoping for more, man. We got some good bounces. So did they. I mean, their punter, a couple of them kicks when they come off of his foot, I thought that ain't going nowhere, but
isn't it more like a dud when the ground is like saturated or somewhat saturated? Don't really bounce like that in those kind of conditions. So you don't really get that. Like it's almost where it's at is where it's at. I mean, you get a little something, but not like it would if it was dry, right?
I didn't.
For the punts.
Yeah, I don't see a big difference unless you're talking mud puddles, man. I mean, there wasn't mud puddles. Them balls was rolling. Luckily, because they weren't in the air. They weren't in the air for too long. That's one thing. I think the rain possibly had something to do with that. Man, they didn't get much air time on them, but they traveled, and I was hoping. I was really hoping to see a couple nice boomers, man. I wasn't all too impressed with the punt game today, but it was nasty for weather for it and that.
It was a nice one that Valus just was a touchback, because I believe Valus got his knee down before he made contact with the ball, if I'm not mistaken.
As he made contact, that one should have been downed inside the 1-2 yard line.
Yeah, that was a pretty good punt, even though I think that guy probably be punting for somebody else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But
so all in all, boys, I really liked it, and they overperformed because I said 28-14 in my pre-show. I don't know if you guys watched the pregame show that I put out about 10:30, 11 o'clock, somewhere around there. I came out for us and
watch it.
Thanks for the support, bro. Appreciate you. So, no, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, so I put that on, and then at the end I did a little like, well, Brandon, what do you think about? Well, I think it's 28-14. What do you, And so it was kind of lonely, man. But I'm not gonna lie, I appreciate
that's what you call 28-14. That's what you thought it would be.
I did, and you know what? The offense didn't let me down, but the defense showed out a lot more than I did, because obviously they gave up a lot less points than I thought,
The defense got me on my prediction too, Brandon, but I was closer than you. I told the Brandon that I went with before the game, I said it's going to be 27-10 Bears.
Oh,
and we hit the 27.
Wow.
And they didn't hit the 10. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm sure you guys watched it on television. We should have had 30-34. We sat on that ball, showed a little class at the end of the game, and just killed that last 2 minutes when we was inside the 10-yard line and going in. I mean, we surely could have punched that one in. If nothing else, it was a gimme field goal.
Yeah.
So yeah, we ended with 27 and sat on the ball to not score at the end of the game. So could have been worse. We could have beaten it.
Ed, I'll tell you something. You guys have all pretty much danced around it. Me too. We kind of know in the back of our craniums that this happened, but Cliff said it. The defense hasn't allowed a touchdown in 2 games. That is huge. That is probably the best statement out of anything I've heard all night. That is pretty special, boys.
Yeah.
That's pretty darn special.
Hey, that's a testament to those guys working to make this team, man.
Yes, and that's all through. I mean, you're talking every first string, second string, third string. Everybody gets out there and plays, and none of them gave up a touchdown. And really, I mean, what did we give up? 9 points in the last 8 quarters.
Yeah.
Hey,
Cliff, they might not give you your roses, but I'm going to do it for you. Thank you, Cliff. Thank you for that.
Shout out to Cliff.
Yeah, that was good, man. I like that. Hey, and you know what? And this is a testament to what Ryan Poles can do, what him and Fluss can build in the building. Shout out to also their assistant that they have over there from Philadelphia, right? Ian Cunningham. The way that they have matured and brought this defensive together, the way that they traded the guys, the Roquan Smith and those type of guys that we were like, oh no, and then they brought all these other guys in now. And now look what the defense allowed a TD in 2 games, these sacks that are coming off, all these kind of good things, interceptions, blah, blah, blah. So just wait, because that ain't really happened on the offensive side of the ball yet. They're just getting started. So
right.
Still work in progress, boys.
Still building the offense. But yeah, that defense is ball hungry. Man, dude, they are ball hungry, man. Real close to having a couple more turnovers today. They're after it, man. I like it. I like it a lot. I like that defense.
Yeah, and you know what? You would have never known that Ed played offense, but because as much as he talks about defense and loves the defense,
I play both ways, brother.
You said it, not me. I didn't say that. But when I talked to you, I don't know if it was because I was an offensive lineman, but our talks building scaffold, or we were supposed to be, was mostly about offensive line. So I did not know that. That's cool that you did.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, which makes you blend in with us and meld even more so, man. That and you're a storyteller. Darius, I don't think I've ever got quite what position did you play, bro?
I played linebacker and safety.
Really?
Yeah.
I got to see that linebacker and safety pick, bro. Because I had you picked wrong, bro.
I played linebacker and safety, but I only played 2 years of football, and I played basketball and baseball the rest of the way.
Oh, basketball too, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man.
Good. Yeah, I was pretty good.
We got about 6 more minutes. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you guys would like to touch base on, or maybe something that you guys have seen in the chat that kind of sparked your interest or anything?
As far as for me, I'm waiting till next week, to see what guys we're gonna put out on the field and see how hard these guys are gonna fight to make this team, number one. And I'm also interested in the cuts that's coming.
Right, we gotta make a cut between now and next week, don't we?
That game's going to come quick. That's Thursday night. Thursday night at 7:20 NFL Net against the Chiefs in Kansas City.
And I would expect the starters play probably a full half on this last one, right?
I think you're right, Ed. I think you're right, because now after that they get 2-3 weeks off before the next game.
Yeah, so the time that those other guys got to try to make the squad is getting awful limited.
Yeah. And I also want to see how the guys, what I'm saying, how the O line does this, because if the starters play for Kansas City, that mean they got to face Chris Jones.
And you also have to Patrick Mahomes against Caleb. What's up?
Yeah.
What's up? Hey, Cliff.
See, I hate when people do that. It ain't Patrick Mahomes against Caleb. It's Patrick Mahomes against our defense and Caleb against their defense. They don't play each other.
Well, they do play against each other.
No, they don't. Not at all. Not at all. It's not like that.
It's the Chiefs against the Bears, dude. It's
there you go. There you go. But it ain't Caleb against Patrick Mahomes.
It should be a great test, though.
Yeah, because we're looking at his stats versus the other guy's stats, and if he can hold up, if he can hang with them, or how much is he gonna look like Patrick? He's not gonna look like Patrick looks, but is he gonna be able to keep up with him? And that's the kind of like the litmus test. Like, is he there? Where is he at? Is he gonna look just like a regular rookie? Or is he going to look like a seasoned rookie or somebody that has some promise? It's going to be cool, man. Trust me, it's going to be electric. And
I like it.
Will he try to do some Patrick Mahomes-esque type stuff? Will he kind of, like his version of Michael Jordan, stick his tongue out when he does a layup or a dunk or something? Is he going to try to dip into that kind of stuff? You know what I mean? So it's going to be cool, man. I'm excited. It's going to be a little special.
Yeah.
All in all, it's a chance for our team to get better another week. You know what I mean? And get us ready, and we'll be another week closer to week 1, man.
And what a great way to finish out.
But really,
preseason.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Finish out this preseason with Kansas City. Now, I told you how impressed I've been with the defense. Here's the defense's test now. Mahomes and both teams will probably play at least a half with their starters. Generally speaking, on the last preseason game, that's what everybody does. Not 100%, but probably 85%, you're going to see starters for a complete half. If our defense can hold up to Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs starters for a half like they have been, and they ain't been playing those slouches now. That being said, I don't know exactly why Cincinnati didn't play Joe Burrow. Maybe he got mad after getting picked 3 times Thursday and said he wasn't gonna go out there on national television and let them do that to him again. I don't know, but the rest of their starters were out there.
Yeah,
just not Burrow. But so anyway, if they can hold up, if this defense looks as good against Mahomes for a whole half, we're there, dude. I'm telling you what, our ones played Buffalo's ones. Our ones played Cincinnati's ones, Les Burrow. But they already proved Thursday in practice that they got his number, right?
Yeah, and I like how we started with Houston and we ended with the Kansas City Chiefs, and we didn't have any bum teams in between. I mean, it's consistently consistent. They've definitely been putting us against some good, quarterbacks and good teams and whatever. Yeah. So it's really good. I want to say something about Cliff really quick. Cliff, you need to stop. Okay, so basically what's happening is Cliff is basically saying if Caleb can do what Cliff can do, then he's basically a man, He says, I can still run in my living room, throw a pass behind my back to my wife in her queen's throne chair, and hit her right in the chest. That's pretty athletic. Okay,
so that, Cliff.
If clip that. Let's see that, bro. Let's see that. If Caleb can do that, then he's there, man. He's a made man. No, that's that. If you can do that, that's pretty darn impressive. Seriously, a little shake and bake. Cliff said, okay, so this is going to lead into my thing with the Bridges and Jeff. I'm bummed my friend Steve died this week. He was a huge Bears fan. Hope he can see the season where he is.
Sorry,
Jeff,
Cliff.
Sorry for your loss, Cliff. I had a loss earlier. A lot of us did in this area. Jeff Bridges, as you guys know, passed away. He was our sponsor and friend. I've known him since 97. Guys have known him his whole life. He touched the area, the community. He did a lot of good stuff for him, whereas be a coach or an entertainer, all this stuff, friend, family member first and whatnot. So I gave a moment of silence this morning on our first show. But now that there's more in the building and in the chat, I'd like to do that again for Mr. Jeff Bridges. And let me tell you something, his celebration of life was a celebration. It was all the way to the end of the street, and people were lined up for about 3 hours, about a 2.5 to 3 hour wait to see that man. And the services were from 2 to 7. Scott said today on Facebook that it went from 2 to 10:30. And that is a lot of love, man. So just a quick little moment of silence for Jeff, if you guys don't mind. I appreciate that, brothers. So, all right, guys. Anyways, yeah, again, Cliff, sorry for your loss with your buddy Steve, man. Rest in peace, man.
Our condolences, man.
Yeah. Man, I love you guys. Thanks for coming on tonight. You guys kept it real, kept me I think if I had Leroy, get me and Leroy together, we would have been talking Super Bowl bound by the end of the show, man. maybe Dynasty, So
hey, man,
I love how you're like, let's channel those expectations. And I already know what Ed's about. When Ed comes on, he's really gonna keep me in check, man. So
yeah, I mean, we have to, man, because if it don't work out like we want it to, man, it's gonna be some sad people out there, man. We got to keep our spirits up, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But do you guys see?
Control.
I agree. You can only control what you can control, and what we've controlled so far. Does that move? Does that move you guys in or out of what your initial prediction was for the season, or do you feel like it's tempered and it's right where it was supposed to be?
Nah, I think for me, 10, 11 wins that's cemented for me. I don't think it'll be no more than that. I would love for it to be, but
is that the floor or the ceiling or both?
No, I think it's more like it's that spot between the floor and the ceiling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Us jumping out there and winning 16 games, I just think that's a lot. That doesn't happen very often coming from where we came from, especially with a rookie quarterback, and we got a very young team and we still have room to grow, we are excited. We're excited about this season because we have new additions, at key spots, but it's not just about this season. It's about the next 8 or 10 to come after this. It's not just, we can be excited about this one, but if they don't win the Super Bowl this year, but we do finish with a halfway decent record, we still have something to build on.
Yeah.
Progress is a process, and, hopefully we all have time to see that the Bears make it to the big game and win it.
Well, look, I went into this season looking at our schedule, and I saw a good potential for a 12-win season looking at our schedule. I predicted prior to preseason everything, 11-win season, because I figured that they'd drop one of the ones I thought they should win. Okay. But I'm telling you, I'm starting to get higher expectations than that. I really think that now Obviously, it's the Bears. I'm a Bears fan. I've been through the mud too many times. We could finish worse than last year, but I don't see that happening. What I really feel like is I'm starting to think we could be a 14 win team and deep into the playoffs. They got the talent, man. If they take what they got going on right now in this preseason and how they've handled Buffalo and Cincinnati, and let's see how we do next week. That's a real test, I think. Um, man, if they build on that and they tighten up, and we're still playing with a whole bunch of new guys. Our rookies, one of which is our damn quarterback. Uh, uh, if and some new guys, right? We got new guys on the offensive line. Our defense got a couple of additions that will fit right in, and they're looking like it. They are looking like it. And a couple of guys in second year guys that played pretty decent towards the end of last year are looking like they're ready this year. That defense looks tough now. The offense, it starts gelling. We got our weakest teams in the first part of the schedule, right? By the time we get into tough competition, which is our toughest competition this year, is going to be in our division, but we don't play a division team till I think week 10 or something. Is it?
I think it's
okay.
11.
All right. Well, by then, all these guys should be together. We should, with the type of guys we got that are already playing the way they're playing, by mid-season we should be stroking it, man. And this could be really something special. Could happen right away, man. I know that we shouldn't expect it, and I'm not saying that I do. What I'm saying is I see the potential that this team could do it, man, this year, right now. Yes, sir.
I hope you're right, Ed.
Hey, it could happen, man.
I hope you're right.
Hey, and look, injuries, all that shit comes into play. Yeah. But man, if we could stay healthy and we could get together and get that offense really clicking, and that defense keeps coming, man, ain't nobody gonna want to see these Bears. Nobody.
Yeah, and I just, I hope for a clean season when it comes down to health, man.
Yes, sir.
I hope, I pray that.
Do we lose them?
What was that? Oh, we can't. Brandon, we can't hear you.
Yeah, we're looking right here. We're looking right here at Ty Hill, the cheetah. Caleb's so nice. He reminded me of, and he finished it off on his social media, talking about Patrick Mahomes. So, and as you could see right here, the whole city is behind Caleb, bro. I mean, it is.
Hey, you see me right there? Oh, what?
Oh yeah. Yep. Signing autographs. Yep.
Hey, dude, I'm tell you something about that too. I started to tell you earlier, and we got off it, but how Caleb started out kind of rough today, slow. Wasn't on with his passes or anything. Slowly got it together, and so I was like, oh man, not this kind of shit again. But I'm gonna tell you what, man. By the end of his play, overly impressed, man. The poise that, and I'm gonna tell you, that long 42 yard pass to Rome.
Yeah.
One, our offensive line gave him all day. He was back there way too long in the pocket.
Yeah, he bought himself some time as well.
Wasn't comfortable with what he was looking at. He was holding it. They started to break down just a little bit. He saw that. He, like you said, he bought himself some time. He come around that left side, dude, and he fired that ball right in front of me, boy. Perfect ball, man. Rome caught that ball. Then Rome goes in the back corner of the end zone. He's standing still, wide open. Caleb hit him. He caught it, both feet out of bounds. I mean, they said his left foot. No, both feet out of bounds, dude. When they showed the replay, he stopped. He must not. I was telling Brandon I was there with, man, I know he was paying attention because he stopped short of running out of the corner of the end zone. So he was looking. I think he was looking at Caleb, and out of the corner of his eye was following that cone. But he was following the top of the cone, not the bottom of the cone where the line is, and just he stepped himself out, man. He was standing there, just outside the end zone with both feet, and caught the ball. He probably thought he caught a touchdown until he looked down. But so he could have, yeah, he could have. So that could have been Caleb's first touchdown. Ends up, he ended up running it, and that was a great play too, man, because he didn't want to run that ball. He had two offensive linemen, one about 7 yards deep and one about 5 yards deep, going, "Come on, man, we got the numbers over here. Let's go." But he come around there. He was still looking to pass, and finally, just took off, followed his lineman right in there, man. It was a beautiful thing. That drive was impressive from start to finish. And I was telling my nephew Brandon that I was there with, I said, man, before, because they had talked about the starters were just going to play a quarter, and this was into the second quarter, I said, man, I hope they play the starters at least one more series, and just let them open it up. Just let them play free. Let them toss the ball around, and that's exactly what they did, man. And it looked so good. I was impressed with that last drive several times.
Yeah, me too. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for everything. I appreciate your insight, for being there. It was great. Great having you on, Darius. I'm glad everybody got to catch the game. Still can't believe we're talking about a preseason game and how excited we are about it. So you guys have a good week coming ahead, and be great, and be great on purpose. And man, just keep living like Steve Mongo McMichael with everything you got, guys. Have a good one.
Indeed.
Right on, brother.